Yo, it's cool times. Gang to my cats, sup to all my ducks. There was a $5.7 million Mega Mutant sale that lit the NFT world ablaze last night, and we also saw Dave Chappelle, Eminem, and some people are speculating Britney Spears buy Bored Ape NFTs. The current floor price for a Bored Ape is over $250,000. So where are these celebrities seeing value in NFTs in the Bored Ape community? Well, today's video is about how I bought my first Bored Ape. No, not me, but I'm talking to a handful of early collectors in BAYC who are going to share their secrets on how they knew Bored Ape Yacht Club was going to explode, how they knew NFTs were going to explode, and they're also sharing some alpha for you guys, for some of you new collectors. So if today's video sounds like something that's up your alley, make sure to like this video. If this video gets over 200 likes, I might even do a Mutant Apes version of this. I might even do a CryptoPunks version of this. Could be really helpful for a lot of people, so make sure to like this video, comment below if you think Bored Ape Yacht Club is worth all the money, and then make sure to subscribe to this channel, because when I hit 10K subscribers, I'm literally quitting my job to do this full time for you guys. And the thing that's crazy is some of these people bought Bored Apes when they were just a couple of $100s, and it's not enough just to buy an NFT, you also have to hold it. They've been turning down hundreds of thousands of dollars for these Bored Ape NFTs, and I want to see what their conviction is. So the question I asked all of them was simply, how did you get your first Bored Ape?
Pretty crazy story actually, man. So I got into NFTs back in like mid-April, and actually through Gary Vee, man. So I listened to a lot of his podcasts and stuff, so he actually the one that got me into it. But I was on Twitter one day, and this guy, he's actually pretty well known in the ape community. He's at toadz, and yeah, he tweeted something like, you know, comment why you would want to be a part of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And I think I was at work at the time too, and I saw the tweet, like he just tweeted it, and I commented it. I think like a couple hours later, man, he just quoted it, tagged me, and he said that I won the ape, man. At the time they're like $1,500, so I was like extremely stoked, man. And then he sent it over, man, and the rest is history. I've held on ever since, man. I haven't never listed it, nothing, man. I mean, the community is crazy, man, so I didn't even want to be without it in this space. But yeah, that's basically how I got my ape.
Holy shit.
Yeah, man, at FFEB1211, give me a follow, man. I mean, if you're all about NFTs and you're super active, I'm for sure gonna give you a follow back, man, because you know, I need that constant update, constant information about this space, man. It's always useful. But again, man, thank you for having me on here, man. Super cool.
Yeah, so I had a pretty interesting story. So I actually first off got into NFTs through Top Shot, like I don't know, 99% of people in the space now. But so that got me in, and then I started following a guy named Alan Falcon, who's you know, one of the founders of Dapper Labs, and on Twitter, and he, you know, I think he tweeted something about Ava stars, and then that, and you know, so that was like the first NFT I ever bought. And then I started getting into it more, and then found out about these apes, obviously, that, you know, were kind of popular at the time. So I missed the mint, actually. So, you know, didn't really know anything in terms of like how to mint anything. So I was just trying to buy stuff on OpenSea pretty much the day after. And so I actually bought 3 apes on that day after for like, I want to say like 0.2, anywhere from 0.2 to 0.5 ETH at the time. And I think ETH was only like, I don't know, $2,400 or something. So even at that time, it was just kind of crazy to consider spending like anywhere near $2,000 on pictures of these monkeys, right? And then, so I didn't really think anything of it at that point. And then, you know, weeks go by and things start to pump, and I'm like, oh crap, like these are like 1 ETH now. It's like 2,000, 3,000, this is serious money. So like, and at that time I didn't really know how to use OpenSea or MetaMask or anything like that. And I figured, all right, let me sell something and see how, you know, just to kind of learn. So I listed one of the apes for like, I don't know, 0.5, and it sold immediately, of course. And so that was that. And I used the, you know, the funds to, you know, get into other random stuff. but that was a really tough one, kind of sort of looking back on it. And then, you know, maybe a couple more weeks later, they start going up to like 2 and 3 ETH or somewhere in that area. I was like, okay, let's sell another one and see what happens. Of course that goes. And so now I'm down to my last ape, and it's pretty much my forever ape now. As you can see, I'm sort of fully invested in this guy. And so it's unfortunate when you look back on it, right? And you say like, yeah, you paper-handed 2 apes pretty early on. But I like to think of it as like the only reason I have 1 ape today is because I had 3 back then. You know what I mean? And thank God I had 3 to begin with, because who knows, like I would have been even more depressed if I only got 1 and then flipped it early and, you know, have nothing to show for it. And now it's like you're part of this whole BAYC community, and you know, you look around my room, everything is like BAYC everywhere. So it's been a ride for sure.
So I remember first hearing about Bored Apes on a podcast. I totally forget which one, but they were talking about Zedrun and like just NFTs, and I was really interested in Zedrun at the time. And they're like talking about Bored Apes, and they're about like a 1 ETH floor. And honestly, like I was pretty skeptical of kind of the whole idea. I mean, I think everyone is, you know, when you first hear about a 10K animal profile pic collection. So, you know, it was always in the back of my mind, but I didn't pull the trigger back then. But eventually, you know, I just kind of saw everyone on Twitter using them. Just did more research. I talked to a lot of Bored Apes. Franklin was actually a big inspiration. He really gave me some advice on kind of the whole Bored Ape Yacht Club community, and really kind of helped my conviction in the project. And yeah, so like I have kind of a, you know, I didn't mint an ape, and I wasn't late. I was kind of like in the middle. I bought my Bored Ape at 7 ETH, but what I did is kind of interesting is I took out a loan on APE to buy my Bored Ape, because I was really struggling to like pay 7 ETH because I knew ETH was gonna rip. I mean, this was back when ETH was like maybe $1,500 or $2,000, and it was pretty much all the ETH I had, and I knew it was gonna rip. And I didn't want to spend it all, so I took out a loan on it in order to buy my Bored Ape. And yeah, I guess the rest is history after that. You know, I always knew I wasn't gonna sell it, you know, until, you know, maybe $1 million floor. But I've held on to it, and yeah, I have no plans of really ever selling it, especially now that I have a mutant too, which is, you know, 10, 11 ETH floor. Is already more than what I paid for my ape. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at RiceFarmerNFT. I just passed 10,000 followers, which is a pretty big achievement for me. So I would appreciate any follows, and yeah, feel free to DM me too if you ever want to talk. I'm pretty friendly.
So we leave Top Shot and we're looking around, and you know, when you're on Twitter and stuff, all the OGs are telling you, I mean, buy a CryptoPunk, or they were all like, buy 1 of 1 art. You gotta buy 1 of 1 art. What do people like for 1 of 1? It's like, and they're like, oh, you got to buy an X copy, you got to buy a B. It's like, that's 20K. I'm not gonna like drop, right? So you're just like trying to figure out, and everything at this time is dropping on OpenSea as these like 100-piece collections. They drop at 100. And you're trying to figure out, you're just like a blind person walking through this like new world, right? And so we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do. We bought a couple things that like didn't work out at all, that we lost money on. And my daughter was born, my first kid was born April 10th. And we were like thick in it then. And I'm just staying at home on paternity leave. And all of a sudden one day, it's April 30th, people on Twitter that evening start talking about these Bored Apes, right? And they're like, okay, that looks okay. Like this could be something. And we hadn't experienced anything that was like kind of this like 10K all at once, mint on their own site, like it's all on chain, that kind of thing. And so we're like, okay, interesting, I'll watch it. So my daughter's up all night. I live on the West Coast, so it's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight. And I start seeing these things like really gain traction on Twitter. There's this like Top Shot crew called the Top Shot Seals. Shout out to them because they were pumping apes hard, saying like this is like a fun thing to get in on. So around like 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night, Pranksy, I'm watching on Twitter, I'm on their page, just refreshing the mints, seeing it go up 100 at a time. For a while, it was just like 10 at a time, kind of 10 every 10 minutes, 10 every 10, and then it's like 100 every 10 minutes. And then it's 500 every 10 minutes. And then Pranksy all of a sudden comes in, he's like, I minted 500. And I was like, oh, dang. And then he's like, I minted 1,000. And I was like, okay, we need to get in on. And then he's like, I'm done, I'm leaving them for the rest of you. And then some guy made fun of him, so he minted 250 more. And I was like, I gotta get in on this. So I've never minted anything on MetaMask in this way before. You're at like, you can't pull money, I know you know. You can't pull money out of Top Shot at all at this point, right? So we're already invested in Top Shot. We don't have a lot of ETH. So I'm like, I'm only gonna mint 2. Press the mint, but I don't know anything about fast gas, nothing. And press mint 2 and just stop. And it's like 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by. And I'm like, stressed that I'm not gonna, it's like midnight, I need to go to bed. I'm not gonna get any of these apes, FOMOs in full effect. I looked to cancel, it costs more to cancel than it does to mint the apes. I'm like, I'm gonna lose this. All of a sudden I go through, boom, I have 2 apes. I have no idea what I have. I look, I got one Uggo one with a beater t-shirt and all of a sudden a gold ape. And I'm like, oh, that looks fresh. Like, that looks nice. That could be something. So I talked to this guy who had minted apes too. I'm like, should I just sell this right now for like an ETH? And he's like, well, go to sleep. Let's see how these things turn out. So I go to bed, I wake up the next morning and apes are pumping. That ape, that gold ape. Like I said, we had no ETH at this point. And I threw it up for 6 ETH. It sold like 10 minutes later. So I went from spending $200 on this ape to about what ETH was at that point, about 30K in 12 hours. I just slept, woke up, put it up, and then I'm like, okay, I'm jacked. But go on the Ape Discord, start getting involved in everything, and everyone is so hyped. Everyone is so pumped to like build up from here. And what it was is it was this new wave. All these NFT people, they weren't OGs, right? You can't buy a CryptoPunk, you can't buy an X copy. Like, you don't have that kind of, this was like our thing together. And so all these like people who came from Top Shot or were just getting into NFTs, it was kind of this like, and that's when I was like, oh, we have something like really fun here. So with those profits, bought a couple more apes and was like, okay, let's ride this out.
So I've been into crypto since 2017, the last bull run, and I had diamond hands forged through negative 60 to 80% days for 2 years straight. And right when the crash happened in May, it felt a lot like how it felt back in 2018 after seeing that crash, after seeing all the gains and losing all of them. It put me in a place of I can't afford to not research what people were doing during the last bear run, which was DeFi. And so in my head, I was thinking, what is the next DeFi? And I first got into gaming NFTs, and then the gaming NFTs put me into the Twitter algorithm for just profile picture NFTs. And when I got deep into the NFT Twitter world was when I realized the power of having like an actual image that you can own and then use as your identity. Because I've already been playing Fortnite and games that you could buy skins in. So I understood the concept of buying a skin, but now that skin is the only skin in existence that you can own. And it's part of a collection of, I saw a bunch of apes popping up on Twitter, and I thought to myself, man, this really feels like a community of people who are into tech, are into the newest emerging technology, and I just thought it was cool and I wanted to be a part of it. So that's when I jumped in. You could follow me everywhere at Bored Ape 2417.
Yeah, so my Bored Ape story. So I first found out about NFTs in general from Gary Vee, or watching Gary Vee, videos, and he was talking about launching the VeeFriends collection. So I was really interested in it, and he, kind of laid out the roadmap on how to load your MetaMask. So I loaded my MetaMask. I was ready to mint the VeeFriends, and I had no idea like what the prices were, what the process was, and kind of was sketched out right at the whole process of using MetaMask and all that. But he had a Dutch auction, and I believe it was like 3 ETH or 2.5 ETH starting, and it just blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, like how am I going to spend that much, cash on something like this? So I went out and did more research on NFTs and bought a couple little pieces, and then I stumbled upon the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And, I looked at their roadmap. I went on their website, and I was like, this is super cool. You can get, merch potentially in the future. You can draw dicks on the bathroom wall. That's everything I'm about. I'm totally into it. So, I was chatting with a couple of my buddies, and I was like, hey, like, have you heard of these? And then the majority of answers, no. So I was kind of flying solo. I didn't know what to do, and I was kind of nervous. And at the time, the apes were around, I think, like a 0.3 floor. And, it was even spending that much, I was nervous to do on some kind of, digital picture, because I didn't know what this would become or what it was at the time even. But I spent like a day just thinking it over and kind of going back and forth. I put a bunch of bids out on several different apes, but I came across this one that had the orange background, which I'm a huge orange background fan. Like it's the elite backgrounds in my opinion. But the way that the party hat colors popped off of the background, it just kind of spoke to me, and I was like, this is like recognizable. It looks very iconic. Like I can see this guy going big. So I went for it. I purchased it for, I think it was 0.39 ETH. I think at the time it was like maybe $800, $900. And, I wasn't expecting to sell it or anything. I was just like excited to hold an NFT for the first time that was, mine and I could hold on to forever. And then, I participated in the Discords and chatted up with a bunch of people that are just super like-minded, and I just love the community of it. So, that's kind of where I started and how I got into the Bored Apes.
Yeah, so I first kind of got exposed to NFTs in general through Clubhouse. So I remember when Clubhouse first started to come out, they had at the time they were doing the invite only thing where you had to get sent an invite to be able to join the app. And right around that time, my cousin and I who I'm very close with, we both randomly got an invite, and we would hop on Clubhouse together, and we kept seeing these NFT rooms, and we're like, what is this? And next thing you know, we got into NBA Top Shot. So I was really trying to learn about NBA Top Shot, and like that was my main focus at the time. Looking back, it's kind of funny that I haven't been on NBA Top Shot in months, but I was really into NBA Top Shot. Next thing you know, I keep hearing about this Bored Ape, this NFT community, and all this stuff. And my cousin was like, "Dude, we got to do it." And he ended up buying one very early on at like 0.8 ETH. And he's like telling me, dude, you have to do it, you have to do it. I'm like, I don't even know what this is, I had barely even owned crypto at the time. And then finally, I kind of just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. At the time, it was like around 3 ETH is when I bought mine, and I kind of just went for it. And obviously the rest is history. Yeah, my Twitter is newguy. Well, let me make sure it's the right one. I think it's newguy.eth. I try to post like a lot of educational things on there, threads and things like that. So, I hope that I'm providing some value to this community. But, other than that, I guess just shout out to my guy, Bored Guy.
Okay, that's gonna wrap up today's video on how I bought my first Bored Ape. I hope you guys enjoy this. Again, if I get 200 likes on this video, I'm gonna keep putting out content like this, maybe do some CryptoPunks, maybe some Mega Mutants, maybe we even talk to some cool cats. Who knows what's gonna happen, but please like this video. It really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you can as well, because when we get to 10K, I'm faxing in my resignation letter to go full-time. Pew pew for you guys, which is gonna be super sick. And then make sure to comment below because it does help out the channel. But guys, I'm so bullish on the NFT space right now. It feels like 2022 is gonna be a prolonged bull run. So let's all do this together and say gang, gang.